Thanks for being with us on Breakfast. Last night, One News revealed millions of dollars has been spent by a number of government agencies and departments to advertise with social media influencers. 7 of the almost $8 million total spent since 2012, so this has occurred under both National and Labor governments, was by Tourism New Zealand. They see it as a way of putting people with influence in our landscape, our special places, and using them to take those experiences out to the world. So how cost effective is this as a way to advertise, and how do we translate online engagement into action to ensure bang for our buck? So people may watch, but they might not necessarily come. Let's bring in, and we're delighted to have her here, Auckland University of Technology Senior Marketing Lecturer, Sama Kapitan. Thanks, Sama. It's so nice to have you here. Thanks you so much. We get good people out of AUT. It's a good university.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
I wonder if some of the reaction to this is a little bit reactionary and fuddy-duddy, in that there's no surprise we're using influencers, is there?
There shouldn't be. We have to follow consumers where they are, and we have to make sure we cut through. We see more than, as consumers, 5,000 to 6,000 messages a day. Just brands that people are wearing, billboards, bus stops, the car in front of us that has a brand name on it. And we need to be able to cut through that clutter to make sure our messages are heard. Any organization that is not using social media and social influencers is doing it wrong.
Right, so they're missing out on something. Okay, so it makes sense to use them, and it makes sense for Tourism New Zealand. I have to look her name up, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes.
So it makes sense to use her because she has a huge number of followers. But how do we know, how can we measure cause and effect? If Bryce Dallas Howard comes down here and has a wonderful time, how do we know that's translating into visitors?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a longer term projection of return on investment. But what we do know is that she's engaging with an audience, and she energizes that audience through who she is. So I don't have to look that name up as an American myself.
Yes.
I know her.
And
she's Ron Howard's daughter.
Yeah, and everyone in the newsroom knew her.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
So it depends on if you're in the target audience, and Bryce Dallas Howard is targeting long-haul travelers from other lands, specifically in North America, to come to our shores. And that's huge for our economy. We need that effort to be part of how we make sure that we grow our long-haul tourism travel. So that's a very key part of that outreach campaign, and that influence matters. And to be able to use the way that we can reach into the hearts and minds of consumers who are following someone like Bryce Dallas Howard, we have to be able to use influencers to that effect.
So in the old days, people went on holidays and they came back and they had a slideshow, and all the neighbours came around because they'd been to a foreign country, and it was a very exciting thing. In a sense, Bryce Dallas Howard and the influencers are becoming a kind of proxy that.
Well, they are. They are allowing us to showcase who we are, and to reach into our hearts and minds. And that's the role of influencer marketing. Influencers are uniquely positioned to connect with us.
Okay. Now, you used the phrase influencer marketing. Is there a requirement, some kind of ethical requirement, to declare that Bryce Dallas Howard has been paid to be here?
Right.
How do we manage the transparency around that?
Well, so this is kind of a Wild West. It's a new frontier for us. So between 2018 and 2019, if we look at New Zealand alone, the number of influencers, those are people who have at least 5,000 followers, sometimes 50,000 and up followers. The number of influencers in New Zealand doubled. We're looking at a huge and growing swath, an industry itself. And because of that, the rules are also changing and developing. The Advertising Standards Authority in 2018 wrote the first rules down for how we should advertise or declare that it's a hashtag ad or hashtag sponsorship. That was just written in 2018, revised in 2019, so these are brand new rules. The definition of advertising is if, on social influencers, is if the editorial content comes from the brand. So if the brand says you have to write it this way, film the video this way, then that should be declared that it's an ad.
Right, because I see people on Insta and Twitter who say, I've just got this wonderful new thing and I'm so delighted to have it. And you know they've been given it.
This is true, this is true.
Right. Do they need to tell us they've been given it, or are we still working out how this functions?
So in the current rules, according to the Advertising Standards Authority from the UK, that we've adopted those rules in New Zealand, no. If they are reviewing that product from their own heart, from their own mind, sharing with their followers what they're excited about, and the advertiser or the brand or the organization has no control over that content, then right now that is not a hashtag ad.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but whatever form they take and wherever along the continuum they are, hashtag ads using social media influencers are going to become, they're going to be used more and more often.
Yeah. I mean, our influencer industry is growing as we speak. More and more people are finding ways to reach out to us. And that's a key part of how we're interacting these days. Every single one of us has a phone. Whether we all follow them or not, anytime I look up a recipe, it's usually sponsored by someone. It's usually, Chelsea Winters. It's someone showing us a new way to use a new sweetener. So whenever we look for information, we're going to find influencers, and it's an industry that's growing. It's just part of our landscape.
Absolutely fascinating insight.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Summer Kapitana from the University AUT in Auckland.
Yes.
Wonderful to have you in here.
Thank you, John.
So in short, this is not a bad thing, but maybe we need to have a greater understanding of the rules around it.
Yeah, I feel like the conversation is evolving. What is an ad? What counts as an ad? And what do we want to see labeled clearly as advertisements so that consumers know what they're getting into?
Thanks, and we're really grateful for you coming to the studio. Lovely to meet you, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Pleasure.
I mean, influencers is just a normal way. This is just the modern world.
Yeah.
This is marketing. This is advertising. This is PR.
Yeah, I have. I'd like to be told. I have some concern about people in our business doing it. So when I see journalists doing it, when I see people I know doing it, I think, you got that for free? I think, maybe you need to tell us you got that for free.
I don't like it.
Would they like the thing as much if they hadn't got it for free?
Exactly.
Would they like the thing as much if they hadn't been given it?
Would they buy it?
Yeah.
Importantly, we are more willing to believe that influencers actually like, value, and use those products, even if they were given it for free, than if it was a celebrity endorsement. We believe people more than brands.
I actually don't anymore. Gosh. I see someone selling something on Instagram, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
We believe people more than brands. That's a good line, though. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where our trust is.
Hence the power of influencers.
I don't trust anyone. No, I do. I trust my friends and my family.
Well, and if one of them's an influencer, if one of them says, hey, I've just been to Canberra and it was fantastic.
And it was free.
Yeah. Thanks, Summer.
Yeah, thank you.
I love